Now, before we proceed with other built-in modules in Node, first we should understand different callback patterns available in Node.js. We should understand what is callback function, what is higher order function. Only then we will be able to proceed with other Node.js modules. So first, what is callback function? It is a function which is passed as an argument to another function. Remember, callback function is a function which will be passed as argument to another function, and this allows the receiving function to call back the passed function at a specific point in its execution. Practically, we are going to see the examples. Functions in JavaScript are first class objects, which means function can be passed as argument to another function, as well as functions can be returned from other functions. Let us see the example to understand about this callback function. Inside this built-in modules folder, I have just created callback.js. Inside this, I will create the function. I will give the function name as greeting. And for this function, I will pass the parameter as name. I will open this function body. Inside this, I will write this log message. And here I will write hello. And inside this, I will simply pass name. Okay, what I have done, I have just created simple function which is accepting one parameter name, and inside that I am just printing that name with the message hello. Below this, I will be creating another function welcome. Inside this, I will be passing function as its parameter. Here, simply I will write greet function. You can give any name. Here, simply I am passing greet function. Open this function body. Inside this, I will just create one variable name, and for this, I will assign the value Khanam. And inside this, I'm just going to call this greeting function. But here, for this parameter, I have used greet function. I will just give the same name, and inside that, I will pass the argument as name. Okay, so what I have done, inside this function, I have passed function as the parameter, and inside this function itself, I am calling another function. Now below this, I will call this welcome function, and inside this, I will simply pass here greeting. So here, this welcome is also a function, and this greeting is also a function, but here greeting is the callback function, and this welcome is higher order function which is accepting function as its argument. As soon as this line executes, first welcome function will be called, inside which I am having name, and inside that I am having this greet function. So name will be passed here Khanam. Then it will go to this function. Khanam will be passed here. So hello Khanam will be displayed in console. I will open terminal, and here I'm just going to execute node callback. As soon as I hit enter, I'm having the result hello Khanam. So here this welcome is the higher order function which is accepting function as its argument, and this greeting becomes callback function. So you can simply tell any function which is passed as an argument to another function is called as callback function in JavaScript, and the function which is accepting the function as the argument is called as higher order function. So in this case, welcome is the higher order function, and this greeting is the callback function. So now we know what is callback function. Let us see different types of callbacks available in Node.js. First, we have synchronous callback, and this callback is executed immediately. So this is called as synchronous callback. For example, we have array filter method, map method, reduce method, and inside that we will be passing callback function, and they are just going to execute immediately as soon as we run the application. It is not going to wait for some processing. It will not be running in the background. As soon as these methods are called, these functions are going to execute immediately. So these are called as callback function. Here, why it is called as callback function? So this filter is a function inside which we are passing another function as an argument, and that function is called as callback function. And synchronous callback functions are those which will be executed immediately. Then second is asynchronous callback, and it is used to delay execution until a specific time or event occurs. For example, here inside JavaScript, I am selecting image, and using this add event listener, I am just adding this load event. Now what happens if I just want to load the image in my website? It will take some time. So it is long running task. We don't know when the loading will be completed. So what we will do, in the background, we will be running the task and we are just going to register for event. And once the loading is completed, simply we will have this message, image has been loaded. So this callback, what we are having here, it will only execute on the load event. Once our image is ready and once this load event is fired, only then this callback will be executed. So this is called as asynchronous callback. So basically we have two types of callback, synchronous callback and asynchronous callback. Synchronous, which will be executed immediately, and asynchronous, it will take time until the specific event occurs. Now the question is, why to use callback? We use this to perform actions after the operation is completed. If the operation is not completed, we don't want other code to wait until that previous operation is completed. So that is the reason we will be using callback, and also it is useful for handling asynchronous operations like reading files, fetching data from the API, and also handling network requests. For example, just imagine you have written some data to read the files, and below that you are having some more data. But if the reading file is taking long time, then you do not want your program to stop until that reading is completed. So in that case, we can use this asynchronous callback, and in the background, we can just read the files. So to summarize the points, callback function is a function which is passed to another function and it will be executed at specific time. And this higher order function are those functions that will be accepting function or they will be returning functions. And these callback functions can be either synchronous callback or asynchronous callback. Synchronous, which will be executed immediately, and asynchronous, it will be executed later once the operation completes. And this Node.js heavily relies on asynchronous callbacks for non-blocking execution. So that is the reason due to which even after being single-threaded, because of this asynchronous callback, we can easily write non-blocking code in Node.js.